SMFest! SMFest! Thank you. Look, I'm going to tell you some truths. I am incredibly tired. In the last 7 days, I've been in 6 different countries. The city started from, I was in Edinburgh a week ago exactly. Then I was in London. I was in Dubai, then South Africa in Cape Town, then Singapore, then Lagos, and now I'm in Owerri. And you know something special about Owerri for me? First and foremost, this is the city, this is the town where I am from. Second, this is the first time, I think this convention center has been in existence for, I think about 3 years. No, 4 years. This is the first time, you may or may not know, but I'm the founder and chief executive of Landmark. And this is the first time I'm standing on this stage in this center. So thank you for coming, and thank you for being here. I'm going to use the next few minutes, 15 minutes, I don't want to lecture you. I want to give you a few nuggets of my views of life and some of the experiences I've had. But before that, I'm going to tell you a very short story of my cousin Ike. And if you've heard this story before, please forgive me. But before I tell you the story of my cousin Ike, I'd like to say good afternoon to my 94-year-old dad. He'll be 95 in 2 weeks. Thanks. So, the story of my cousin Ike. I want to tell this story because it encompasses, it talks about the Nigerian youth, it talks about our resilience, and it talks about our future. It talks about what you have to do to be successful. So my cousin Ike graduated from university. He looked for a job for 5 years. He couldn't find a job. So what he decided to do, he decided to employ himself. Now, he did electronics in university, so he thought, you know what, I'll open an electronics shop. So he opened an electronics shop. He moved to Lagos, opened an electronics shop on a busy street in a place called Surulere in Lagos. After about 2-3 months, it actually did quite well, right? And he came home during Christmas, you know, had parties with family and friends, and celebrated his successes. And after Christmas, he went back to Lagos to continue his electronics shop. He got back to Lagos, and he saw right to the left of his shop, there was another electronics shop, and it had a big sign up, and it said, "Best deals here." Furthermore, he found out that that shop was opened by his first cousin, who had just heard all his stories. So he thought, wow, that's a bit of competition, but he continued. He gave his first cousin some advice, and they traded together. He went away, Easter came, he talked to his friends and family again, celebrated a little bit, and came back to Lagos after Easter. And he saw another shop on the other side of him, selling exactly the same product line, electronics. And he found out that was opened by his best friend. So he thought, what do I do? One shop said, best deals here. The other one said, lowest prices here. So he thought, what do I do? Do I just give up and go somewhere else? No, he didn't. He went to the sign maker, and he made a big sign, and he put it on top of his shop, and it said, main entrance here. Now, the moral of that story means you need to be inventive. You need to be imaginative. Yes? You need to be dedicated. Every single challenge, right, is gain in advance. It's just wrapped, right? So we need to be inventive. You no longer can be a one-trick pony. You're never going to be the only person doing one thing. I remember when I meet people, I meet a lot of young people, and someone says, oh, I want to talk to you about my business, but can I please sign this NDA? And I say, why do you want me to sign the NDA? Because they don't want me to steal the idea. And I said, you know what? Nobody can steal your idea. It's like stealing you. Whatever you do in life, do it in a way that nobody else can, right? Do it in a way that everybody who sees it will talk about you for the rest of your life, right? That nobody can steal it because they can't steal you. An idea is not a business, right? And a business is certainly not an idea. Okay, so let's go. I don't know how many of you have watched Lion's Den here. And I remember there were quite a few episodes, and someone calls me up one day and says, why are you the guy that never invests? And I said, I actually do, but I invest in certain things, right? And what I said to myself is, I'll invest in things that I know I could make successful, right? But there are three things that you would invest in any case, right? There are three reasons why people invest in you. One is you. You. So you need to be the very best you can. Two is, and you need to have the knowledge of what you're doing. Two is an idea that solves a problem. So an idea that solves a problem of many. If it doesn't solve many people's problem, you know, it's too niche. I won't invest. Some people can, and some people will. But if you solve the problems of many, the most successful companies in the world are the companies that have solved the problems of many people. So, and then three, basically, is something that's scalable. It has to be able to grow. It has to be able to make money because people invest for returns. So they're either social returns or financial returns, but you invest for returns. So anything that you can't scale, if you can't grow it, it dies. So it must be something that can grow. So I was going to talk a little bit about Landmark and myself and the Landmark ecosystem. And I think there's a video that's about to play on the Landmark slide. Yes, this one. Well, it doesn't matter. Enough has been said about me. Oh, there it is. The video is about to play. So that's Landmark. Whilst it's playing, I'll talk you through what exactly it is. So I came back to Nigeria about 2004, and I set up a series of service offices across several African countries. In 2009, I decided that Africa was shot. It just had a lot of issues, right? And I decided I couldn't provide a service, an international service in other people's buildings. So I decided I'll set up my own building. And I thought, what do I have to do to set up my own building? I had to look at the trends. The barriers, the borders between work and leisure were changing, right? Technology was coming in. People were more dynamic. This demographic boom we talk about is right here in this room. The younger people think in very different ways, and I had to adjust to that. So I thought to myself, a country full of infrastructure challenges, I'm going to buy a piece of land, I'm going to make sure it's near water, and I'm going to put everything in there, right, and make sure people come, right? So that was in 2009. It took me 6 years to find the money. So 2015, we started building. So 8 years later, we are now the #1 business, leisure, and lifestyle destination in West Africa. We welcome 3.5 million visitors every single year. And dare I say, many of them leave happy. And I hope, for those of you in this room who have been there, I hope you left happy. For those of you who haven't been there, you're missing out. So make sure you do. All right. Next slide, please. So dare to dream. I think all of us are here because we dream. Yes, you have to dream. If you don't dream, then you can't achieve anything. Right? But the issue is, how do you upgrade your dreams to reality? What do you do to upgrade your dreams to reality? Well, first of all, you've got to be resilient. You've got to be prepared to take the knocks. You've got to be prepared to fall down and get up. I'm sure some of you have heard the Michael Jordan story. Do you know who knows Michael Jordan here, the basketballer? Yes? Well, if you don't know him, it means you don't watch basketball. But he's the most famous basketballer on planet Earth. Michael Jordan said, you know what? I have taken 9,000 shots. I have lost 300 games. Yes, I have been entrusted with a game-winning shot 26 times, and I have failed. I have failed over and over and over again, but you know what? That's what made me succeed. Now, that's one of many stories. So don't ever be afraid of failure. You must dream, and you must upgrade that dream to reality, right? But you're in charge of your own dreams. Next slide, please. So I spoke earlier. Just pause the video for half a second. I spoke earlier about solving a problem. So I'm going to show you a 20-second clip on one of the Lion's Den days. So please go ahead if there's sound.
I think the name Pop Art, it looks like you thought of something else and then you changed your mind, decided to do this.
No, actually, no.
Because even when you were explaining, I was trying to figure out, is this a buying platform or a selling platform? Were you sort of selling the creation of invitations and stuff as a platform, or are people just buying tickets? I'm still not quite 100% sure. Is this like Ticketmaster? Or are you selling the creativity of creating your own invitation?
No, we're allowing creators come on the platform to create their events, so sort of like Ticketmaster.
So Davido or WizKid is having a gig, they'll come onto your platform,
yes,
create their events on your platform, and give you 5% of their revenues.
That's the plan.
But why would they do that though? Why would they give you 5% of their revenue? I think you're too early. I don't think you've thought the business through. I think you're still thinking about it, and you're still trying. And you don't know what the 20 million is for. There's a real business.
Thank you. So I showed this video for two reasons. One was because after this show, my mom called me, and my mom said, "Whatever you do, please don't be rude." Right? So it changed the way I approach things on lines and after that. But I show this because this guy actually had what I thought was a billion-dollar idea, right? But I thought he was focused on some of the wrong things. And he was more in love with the celebration of what he was trying to do rather than the actual business. So the key thing in life is make sure if you're going to run a business, try to solve a problem, a real problem, a day problem that everybody has, not a problem that one or two people have. If you solve the problems of many, you will make billions. What you choose to do with the billions is up to you, right? But solve a problem of many people. Next slide, please. The next slide. Yes, please go ahead and play this.
You haven't manufactured anything yet. You haven't sold anything yet. The company is worth 200 million naira. You have other businesses. Some you started and failed. Some are still in existence, hoping they will succeed. You're a medical lab scientist. You're standing in front of us, asking us for 20 million naira for 10%. I mean, what am I missing? Why? Why should we give you that money?
Globally, no hardware system.
So you can stop that. So I've shown this because, again, so this is the exact opposite. This guy had a business, which by and large, a lot of people have made money from. So it was this credit card machine scanning business, and he had some idea to bring it to the marketplace, right? But he had done no research whatsoever. He had no idea on how to sustain it, how to develop it, and how to grow it. He had no idea of the challenges that lay ahead, right? He was so ill-prepared to come, right? But he had a great idea. So one of the messages I would like you to leave here with is, a great idea does not make a great business, yeah? A great idea does not make a great business, right? You need to be great. You need to be great. The business needs to be great. You need to do things in a way that nobody else can. Yeah. My old boss used to say, when I asked him what does it feel like being a boss and being a big entrepreneur, and he said he read somewhere that being an entrepreneur is like you get into a plane and the plane is about to crash and someone throws you a parachute, right? And you say, "No, I don't need it. I'm going," right? You dive out of the plane with a piece of material and you'll make your parachute on the way down. It means you've got to finish it before you hit the ground, right? Now, it means two things. You've got to be brave enough to say, "I'm going to try," right? And then you've got to also decide. You've got to also decide that you're going to try to achieve something, otherwise you're going to have to start again, right? So I've talked about sustainability. I think it's important to whatever business you create to make it a sustainable business. Next slide, please.
You haven't manufactured anything yet.
No, the next one. Scalability.
If I offered you 250 million to just walk away and do something else, let me just take the platform and take it from there, would you take it?
Well, the truth is we won't, because we know the value that we're bringing to the market.
Yeah, but are you doing it for love or you're doing it for money?
Okay, so we are doing it for profit and at the same time to impact.
So what's the number that you'll be offered that you walk away today?
Okay, there's no number I would offer that I would walk away.
I ask you that question because you value this business at 500 million naira. After 6 months of an idea that many people have started and
so the major reason why the value is high is because we are about to convert 200,000 NFTs.
So why don't you convert them before you come here with a 500 million
we
value?
want, aside coming here for money, we want to partner with the lion that understands scalability.
And if you want to partner, then come with a valuation that makes sense to the lion. It doesn't make sense.
All right, I don't know how many of you watched that episode, but this guy came with an idea that even Jeff Bezos made money from. I mean, this was going to be the Amazon of Africa. I thought it was an absolutely exceptional idea, right? But he overvalued his idea. Yes, he valued his idea at 500 million naira. All he had was an idea, right? I offered him 250 million naira. He turned it down. He turned it down. All he had was an idea. Yeah? Now, I say this and I show this video because many of us have ideas. And look, I don't blame him. I was hard on him, but I don't blame him because I did exactly the same thing he did several times before I learned my lesson. So all of you here, all of you budding entrepreneurs, yes, just remember, most people who get rich start from nothing. You don't have to get rich from when you start, right? You have to have a long-term plan. So the value of your business, the value of your idea actually is zero. The value of the business could be many, many millions, right? But the value of the idea is zero. So when you have an idea, look for someone who will partner with you, take what it is they're going to offer you, and try and run with that idea. There was a video I looked for, but I couldn't find. One of the guys I did back. And he works with me now, and those of the Landmark team here probably see him. He plays football at Landmark and stuff. But he was an artist, and I don't know how many of you watched that particular show, right? I invested 14 million naira in him. I've gotten 25 times my money back in 11 months. 25 times my money back, right? A number of reasons. He was humble. He was creative. He was hardworking. He's destined for greatness. I just know that he would do well, right? And I hope hopefully he's not watching this because I hate praise. But next slide, please.
Seems to have spotted some clutter in the business model.
You said you make 5 million a month, right?
Yeah.
Revenue. What's the margin? What's profit?
50%. About 50% on average.
With this 30 million, you said you scale up to 15 million a month.
Yes. In revenue, in turnover.
So that means it will take you 80 months to get to the valuation that you've ascribed this business today.
Right.
So anybody who invests 30 million has to wait. What's 80 months? That's 7 years?
No, 18 months is, close. Six and something,
Yeah.
All right. I'll finish that. So I showed this, and it was amazing because these people turned up for the show, and they were selling a cleaning service, an online cleaning service. What I didn't know, by the way, is we have a number of hotels, and they were actually servicing, not online, but they were the cleaning company that was cleaning one of our hotels. But I didn't know that at the show, but obviously they did. They knew it. But they didn't do their numbers. I thought it was a great idea. I mean, they were great people. They were intelligent. They were smart. They were incredibly hardworking, and you could see that, right? But they didn't know their numbers, so it wasn't bankable. Remember this, if you don't remember anything else. If you can't count it, it doesn't count. Next slide, please.
I'm here seeking 45 million naira in exchange of 10% equity. I'm also hopeful that one or more of you lions will be willing to help us raise this cub into the continental lion it can possibly be. Thank you very much.
Jonathan knows how to drive home his point, and he is pitching Cavity, a company that retails car accessories and offers automotive consultancy and services. He is hoping to ride out of the debt with a 45 million naira deal in exchange for 10%. And impressed Paul Onwuanibe gets the show on the road.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Very good presentation, by the way. Very
well
slick.
done.
Well done.
The best so far.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well done.
Good.
Very slick.
Very nice.
So let's see whether the product matches the presentation. But I like it because everybody has this problem, by the way. So is this a physical shop or an online platform to your door? Because this one says accessories to your door.
Accessories to your doorstep. So we started out in 2019 as an e-commerce platform, cavity.com. However, we have morphed into physical stores. And one of the reasons, like I earlier cited, was major distrust. But beyond that, we realized that no matter how aggressive...
Yeah. So this guy, as you can tell, had an absolutely stunning presentation. I thought he had a great idea. But you know what he was driven by? He was driven by passion and conviction. I don't know how many of you watch the Olympics here, right? But the older ones in the room will remember a guy called Jesse Owen, right? Jesse Owen in 1936 ran the 200 meters Olympics. It was just after the war. He broke the world record by 200th of a second to finish first. There's a guy who came second. His name was Matthew Robinson. He broke the world record as well. He finished second by one-fourth of a second. Jesse Owen went on to become a world star. Matthew Robinson became a janitor. The difference between excellence and mediocrity is a feather. Every time you turn up, be on your game all the time. The difference between mediocrity and excellence is a feather. All right. Next slide, please. The one after that. Move on. I've got a couple of lessons I want to get to. Next slide.
Well, you know what?
Next. All right. A couple of quick stories. So be adaptable is a big story, and I think it's important to be adaptable. I don't know how many of you know about it. Well, you know about the Netflix story, but what you don't know, there was a company called Blockbusters before that. Blockbusters were a video rental company. And in 2008, when Netflix came up, the CEO mocked Netflix and said, I don't even consider him on my radar. I don't look at him. In 2010, Blockbusters filed for bankruptcy. Netflix today is worth $190 billion, right? These guys were adaptable. Blockbusters didn't adapt. Next slide, please. So I want to roll out some 5 tools I think that are important. I had sort of 5 nuggets I want you to take away. And I think in my life, this has helped me, and I hope it will help you in your life. So the first one is keep ambitious friends. Have friends that are like you, that are ambitious. I'm sure you heard of the Google story, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, right? They were friends. They decided to start this business, and they became billionaires. The Microsoft story is the same. Every single story, the Apple story is the same. And even the smaller stories. Keep ambitious friends, right? Don't have friends that are not like you. They will only take you the other way. Number 2, network relentlessly. It's a stated fact. It's not fiction. It's not guesswork. It's not emotion. 73% of successful people in their lives became successful because of people they met by chance. By chance. Not your father, not your mother, not your cousin, not your friend. Yeah? By absolute chance, right? Network relentlessly. Third, increase your surface area of luck. Now, there's a common theme. People feel that luck is something that happens by chance. I put it to you that luck is not by chance, it's intentional. You increase your surface area for luck. What that means is do enough things, give yourself enough of a chance, right? To increase your surface area for luck. So give you an example. If you're selling oranges and you put your tray behind this convention center on a Monday to Friday, the chances that anybody will buy oranges from you are zilch. If you're selling oranges and your tray is at the junction there, the chances that your oranges will be bought are a lot higher. You're both doing the same business, right? You have the same product, you have the same pricing. One is successful and one is not. That's the reason. That person increased their surface area for luck. So you basically need to cultivate a fertile ground, yes, where luck can manifest itself, right? It can thrive. Fourth, understand your market. Understand your market. Not your business, not your idea, not your product, but the wider market. Know what other people are doing, right? Understand your market. It's very similar to understanding your numbers. You must know the numbers. You must understand. So a lot of people come to me and say, I'm developing this concept. There are 200 million people in Nigeria. If 10% of them buy, there are 20 million people. If 10% of the 20 million people pay me X amount of money, I'm going to make money. That's not how to run a business. You won't make money. Yeah? So actually understand your market, understand your competitors, understand who's in it with you. Yes? And then the last thing is a combination of first, is know your numbers. You know? Remember what I said? If you can't count it, it doesn't count. Who plays table tennis here? Well, quite a few people, but I'm sure you've seen people playing table tennis or lawn tennis. And just before you start, everybody's sort of stroking, doing all sorts of things. And when you say zeros, all of a sudden people are now careful. They're now batting. right? Because you're counting. If you can't count it, it doesn't count. All right. So I'm going to round up by saying two things. And you're not going to like either of these, by the way, but I'm going to say them anyway. The first one is called the just world fallacy. The very thought that everybody believes that the world is fair, that good is rewarded and evil is punished. Sorry, guys, it's not fair. Good is not always rewarded and evil is not always punished. So when you do good and you're not rewarded, move on and keep on doing good. It's okay, right? When you see someone doing evil and you think they're doing well, it's okay. It's short term, right? The truth is, the world is not fair. It never has been. It never will be, right? But you need to make your own game. The second thing I wanted to dismiss, and again, you won't like it, it's called balance, right? So everybody preaches in life, have balance, right? You know, have some time for your friends, have some time for your family, sleep well, eat well, work as hard as you can, but, you know, remember, work and play as well, right? Sorry, I've got news for you, right? Unless you're a genius and you're extremely lucky, if you prioritize balance, right, over that entrepreneurship journey, yeah, you are unlikely to reach the higher echelons of economic freedom. It's just a fact. It's a fact. So you got to choose. I'm not saying you can't, but you must be either a genius, right, or incredibly lucky, right? But so balance is not one thing that you have to recognize that there's sacrifice, right, to achieve greatness. And that sacrifice is the currency of greatness. There's nobody who has been great without sacrifice. So I will end literally on that note, and I'll say, you know what, you guys here, everybody talks about what is the government doing, what's this person doing, but you know what, you are exactly where you need to be to make the change.